Happy Tuesday, Kipsters! It's been so great to have already heard from so many of you this week, sending me photos, getting to see some of your faces on Zoom. It's been great. Remember, if you ever need anything, you can just reach out to me. Otherwise, let's get started learning today. Kipsters, last week we practiced answering questions about a fictional text with Olivia. So remember our thinking steps. First, I figure out what the question is asking me. We've seen this chart so many times now, we should have it nailed. Then I think where to look in the text for my answer. And finally, I go back in the text and reread to find the answer to my question. So watch me answer a question about Olivia. I've heard from so many of you that you loved reading this book, so I'm more than happy to come back to it. So the question that I want to answer today is, when does Olivia like to go to the museum? So it's a when question, right? So knowing my chart, I know that I am looking for a time. My answer has to include a time. When does she go to the museum? My answer has to be a time. Now I need to think where in the text I can find my answer. The question is about Olivia going to the museum, so I need to go back to the part of the text where she's in the museum. Let's see. Ooh, opened right up to it. Now I'm going to reread that page to see if I can find my answer. On rainy days, Olivia likes to go to the museum. She heads straight for her favorite picture. Kipsters, did you hear the answer to my question? It says that she likes to go to the museum on rainy days. Rainy days is a time, right? That's when she likes to go to the museum. She likes to go to the museum on rainy days. Okay, Kipsters, so just like before, I figured out what the question was asking me. I thought about where in the text to look for my answer, and then I went back and I reread the text. That's going to be our job today with a brand new book. That's right, we're starting a new story today called Gilberto and the Wind. I'm really excited to read it with you. Let's take a look. Okay, Kipsters, we are going to read this brand new book called Gilberto and the Wind, and then we're going to answer some questions about it. Your whole job right now is just to follow along as I read. Okay, Gilberto and the Wind by Marie Hall Etts. I hear wind whispering at the door. You, he whispers. You-oh. So I get my balloon and I run out to play. At first, wind is gentle and just floats my balloon around in the air. But then, with a jerk, he grabs it away and carries it up to the top of a tree. Wind, oh wind, I say, blow it back to me, please? But he won't. He just laughs and whispers, you. Wind loves to play with the wash on the line. He blows the pillow slips into balloons and shakes the shirts and twists the apron strings. And he pulls out all the clothespins that he can. Then he tries on the clothes, though he knows they're too small. And Wind loves umbrellas. Once, when I took one out in the rain, he tried to take it away from me. And when he couldn't, he broke it. If the gate in the pasture is left unlatched, Wind plays with that, too. He opens it up, then bangs it shut, making it squeak and cry. Wind, oh wind, I say, and I go and climb on. Give me a ride. But with me on it, the gate is too heavy. Wind can't move it at all. When the grass is tall in the meadow, Wind and I like to race. Wind runs ahead, then comes back and starts over. But he always wins, because he just has to run over the top of the grass, and I have to run through it and touch the ground with my feet. When the big boys on the hill have kites to fly, Wind helps them out. Wind carries their kites way up in the sky and all around. But when I have a kite, Wind won't fly it at all. he just drops it. Wind, oh wind, I say, I don't like you today. When the apples are ripe in the fall, I run with wind in the pasture and wait under the tree. And wind always blows one down for me. And when I have a boat with a paper sail, wind comes and sails it for me, just as he sails big sailboats for sailors on the sea. And when I have a pinwheel, wind comes and plays too. First, I blow it myself to show him how. Then I hold it out, or hold it up, and wind blows it for me. And when he blows it, he turns it so fast that it whistles and sings, and all I can see is a blur. Wind likes my soap bubbles best of all. He can't make the bubbles. I have to do that. But he carries them way up into the air for the sun to color. Then he blows some back and makes me laugh when they burst in my eyes or on the back of my hand. When the leaves have fallen off the trees, I like to sweep them into a pile. But then wind comes along, and just to show that he can sweep without a broom, wind scatters the leaves all about again, and he blows the dirt in my face. Sometimes wind is so strong, he starts breaking the trees and knocking down fences. Then I'm afraid. I run in the house and lock the door. And when wind comes howling after me and tries to squeeze in through the keyhole, I tell him no. But then comes a day when wind is all tired out. Wind, I whisper, oh wind, where are you? Shh, answers wind, and he stirs one dry leaf to show where he is. So I lie down beside him, and we both go to sleep under the willow tree. Kipsters, thank you so much for reading this story with me. And now we are going to answer some questions about the text. So my first question, when does the wind break Gilberto's umbrella? When does the wind break Gilberto's umbrella? So I'm looking at my chart, Kipsters. It's a when question. So what does a when question mean? What am I looking for in my answer? Call it out. That's right, I'm looking for a time. So I need to be answering with a time. So now I need to think where in the text to go back to answer my question. When does the wind break Gilberto's umbrella? Does that happen at the beginning, the middle, the end? Yeah, it's kind of toward the beginning of the book, right? We're getting into the middle of the book there, though. So I'm going to go back to that part of the story, and I'm going to reread this page. See if you find the answer to my question. When does the wind break Gilberto's umbrella? Wind loves umbrellas. Once, when I took one out in the rain, he tried to take it away from me. And when he couldn't, he broke it. So, Kipsters, when did the wind break Gilberto's umbrella? Yeah, he broke it when Gilberto took his umbrella out in the rain and wind couldn't take it away from him. So when wind couldn't take it away from him, he broke it. Nice job. All right, my next question. Why does the wind always win in races against Gilberto? Why does the wind always win in races against Gilberto? So I'm checking my chart. It's a why question. What does my answer have to include? Exactly. I've got to have a reason. My answer has to be a reason. Why does the wind always win in races against Gilberto? Where did that happen in the text? Was that the beginning, the middle, the end? Yeah, it was toward the middle of the text. So I'm going to go back and find when they're racing in the grass. I'm going to reread this page to see if we can find my answer. So remember, why does the wind always win in races? You've got to come up with a reason. So let's listen and see if you hear that reason. When the grass is tall in the meadow, Wind and I like to race. Wind runs ahead, then comes back and starts over. But he always wins because he just has to run over the top of the grass and I have to run through it and touch the ground with my feet. So why does the wind always win? Right, because the wind only has to run over the top of the grass and Gilberto has to run through it and touch the ground. So the wind has a much easier time at the race than Gilberto does. Good. Okay, one last question, Kipsters. How does Gilberto feel when the wind starts knocking down trees? How does Gilberto feel? Okay, let's check our chart. What does my answer have to include? It's a how question, guys. What does it have to include? That's right, a way. And in this case, we're looking for a way that Gilberto is feeling. So how does Gilberto feel when the wind starts knocking down trees? When does that happen in the text? The beginning, the middle, or the end? Yeah, that is toward the end of the book. So let's find it. And let's reread. Listen for the answer to our question. How does he feel it? Remember, with feeling questions, it might not come right out and tell us. So let's pay careful attention. Sometimes wind is so strong he starts breaking the trees and knocking down fences. Then I'm afraid. I run in the house and lock the door. So, Kipsters, how does Gilberto feel when wind is knocking down trees? Yeah, exactly. He feels afraid. It says it right here in the text. So we didn't even have to make an inference. This time the text came right out and said it. Nice job, Kipsters. Thank you so much for reading this text with me today. Okay, as always, now I've got a job for you. For your assignment today, I want you to draw a picture using labels about a time when you noticed the wind outside. What was it doing? Label your picture to make sure you show me what the wind was doing and how that made you feel. Then send that picture to your teacher. I cannot wait to see what you draw and see all of your excellent labels. Thank you so much, Kipsters, for reading this brand new book with me today. And I will see you next time.